Howdy, it's Tuesday, 7 p.m. And what I'm going to do here is take a pretty detailed look at gold and silver. And in the persona that I'm a new investor or I'm trying to reallocate some of my funds to have a better chance at making some profit, let's say, during these downturns. So I can just like break this down like on a bigger sense and then kind of fine tune it to the here and now. But I think anyone that watches my channel knows pretty well my position on gold and silver and how I think that it's one of the best positions to have at least a percentage of your portfolio in. I mean, the risk to reward with silver right now, I think, is just it's beautiful. I mean, and I think that comparatively speaking to a lot of other assets, I mean, you just can't find that risk to reward. I can't see too many other ones, and if you guys got them, I mean, fire them away. I mean, there's a lot of other things to get, but I've always been a fan of silver. I mean, most people around the world are, you know. So looking at this, we only have the data from 1998, so this is obviously a lot longer, and this isn't just the second, market cycle with silver. I mean, we can say here just a couple quick things is that, I mean, we have this good cup here, a period of contraction so that we can expand once more. So we know that everything goes in market cycles, and during this time frame, while we have the excitement, the disbelief, I mean, the euphoria, the happiness, I mean, we're going to the moon, right? I mean, and then it kind of rolls over and we get all those negative feelings. Disbelief, doubt, I mean, fear, anger, I mean, hopelessness, and I mean, eventually people get out of the market. Only for it to basically, right, contract so that it can expand again. So when we start looking at these things as little miniature versions of itself playing out, you can start seeing a lot of patterns here. And with silver, I'm saying that we're probably still in like the smart money entering into silver. I mean, the only way that I could see silver having another downturn, and let's be real, I mean, there is a legitimate threat of this, is that the whole market crashes again and people have to sell their gold and silver to cover other positions that they extended themselves in, and that's the legitimate risk here. And what I could say, just right here, I drew a little bit of a downward trend line just with an arrow. And it kind of shows for me, if we can break above this, and not only this would be like the first kind of sign that, man, maybe we're gonna have a nice little pump here in silver. These are the marks that I'm looking at for confirmation that we're probably gonna see some continued upward action. And I would say, looking here in 1957, 2117, and I mean, those numbers can be a little bit different. I mean, let's just extend this over to beforehand, and now we added a little bit, even more stronger, let's say, resistance right now. But if we can break above, that's going to be great support and make you feel pretty happy about buying in this zone. So you could say that we've somewhat had, like, we've touched here twice, three times. We have that wick down. That's what that sell-off, hey? So you never know what's possible with one of those huge, well, it's a monthly, right? That's a huge negative month, but when you really think of it, I mean, it didn't go all the way down here. It only closed right here. So in reality, it did get supported back here. So even if we had a little bit of a downturn, I can't see it's breaking, some of these levels for too long. There's just such a inflation happening worldwide that there's no, I mean, real value holders like gold and silver. I mean, it's just a matter of time before people actually get a sniff of how good of an investment they are. So looking at here, I mean, the worst comes to worst. I mean, what levels are we looking at? I mean, I don't even want to entertain these numbers too much as possibilities, but I couldn't see in the worst of situations it going below like 850, maybe 970. I don't think we could get below $10 with silver, to be honest. I know we touched 1150 here. I don't think it's possible to get really below this. I mean, who knows what's possible anymore? I mean, we in the worst case scenario here, the worst case, we could maybe come down here a little bit, and this could end up being a deeper curve. I mean, that would be ludicrous in my mind. I mean, that's a very rare potential that, I mean, in this day and age, I'm not gonna doubt anything anymore. But that'd be probably the worst case scenario. And with that worst case scenario, if we're looking at long-term investments, I mean, we're looking at almost a guaranteed resurgence in here. I mean, it could take a long time, but it's a guaranteed one. I mean, I will probably promise you that. I mean, if we have any type of market left, I mean, I'll guarantee it. I mean, now, another thing we can look at is gold, and usually silver just always follows gold. It just lags behind though. So let's let's remove some of these negative ideas, but be aware of their existence. So I just outlined some of the worst case scenarios. Now let's look at some of the more realistic and more probable scenarios. I mean, just to give a quick foreshadow, gold is more or less the same as silver. Sorry about that. Gold is more or less the same as silver. And when we look at here, it's the same thing. We had this little down tip. It challenged it a lot sooner. And then we had the contraction just to expand. Then we expanded all the way up. And now we have the contraction. And it looks like we're coming up here too. So if we can break above 1915, all that fear and doubt is probably almost gone. I mean, we're looking at it's very, very probable. I mean, we could see a peekaboo here and it come back down and it kind of lag a bit before it rockets up. But if we have a close on the monthly here, if we have a candle closing above 1950, I mean, you can almost guarantee a double in gold. I mean, and it's actually coming pretty quick. So when we come down here at the bottom and see $1,000.50 gold, and now we see it at let's say 1750. I mean, we've almost doubled. I mean, not quite, but you can appreciate the amount of gain. I mean, I don't know why I'm just like estimating here. Why don't we just figure out? I mean, 65 conservatively, 65%. I think it's a little bit more than that to me. Let me just get here. 68, yeah, it's only about 68%. That's very well though. I mean, so now let's just go back to silver, and let's do the same. Let's just say right here is the bottom, and let's say where are we going to, I mean, whoa, that's pretty high. I mean, from the bottom here, I guess that's 60% increase. So now that we're looking at silver, you can see how much like exponentially it has a lot more potential versus something like gold. I mean, from the bottom here, yeah, I mean, probably very few people were buying silver at this. I mean, it dipped down there for a moment, and people that were in the silver market, they were buying it. Obviously, it got bought up quick. But when we look at here in just terms of like numeric value, let's just say, I mean, $50. So if we're at $25, we still have a double up to get to the top here. So comparatively speaking to gold, you can see how much more potential silver has right now for the average person, especially buying bullion and being able to accumulate some actual quantity in your hand. With this, yeah, it's moving up because gold is the nation standard of money, right? And every country in the world is buying all the gold. I mean, trying to at least have something of value. I mean, you go and look, man. Go and look. Everyone will buy it all. And I mean, to the extent that probably most gold mines will be nationalized because the countries will need the gold if things go bad. And yeah, it's probably, we're looking at a more certainty that they will. So just to come back to silver and make those comparisons, I mean, you can basically, extrapolate what's going to happen. I mean, if we can just have this, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, it's not guaranteed, like I said. We might have that opposite, and I guess I can apologize right now. My voice is kind of hoarse. Had no water all day, and I'm just talking everyone's ear off. So my apologies. I don't know if I'm going to actually leave and get it, so you're just going to have to deal with my hoarse voice. So the first lump on the hill, I mean, the first thing we got to get past with silver is probably this near immediate 1950. Once we're above this 1950, the next one, there's not going to be any stop from 1950 to 2120. So I guess that's a couple percent gain there, almost certain, if you want to play that breakout. And then we're going to have probably the real challenge to get above this 21-29 percentage. I mean, especially considering we just V'd right out of this. It's just like a boom, boom. I would imagine we have to consolidate a little bit. So besides those 2 points, this downward trending, let's just say, arrow I drew, I mean, we could even extend it a little bit further and just kind of tighten it up a little bit and say that, yeah, there's a lot of touches right there. If we can get above this too, that's also a positive. So 1950 above this little short-term trend line, and if we break this, man, like I'm telling you, if we break 21.29, let's just say 21.35 to be conservative. If you wanted to do nothing, put a stop limit. You know, put. Man, I don't know. If driving and typing is probably the 2 things that make me the most upset in life. But I guess there's always a funny thing to, dwell off it too. But yeah, let's just say 21.35, you could say, is your target, or your trigger price. And then you could set something like, if you want to be more conservative and not do a peekaboo, you could do something like 21.36, and maybe I would maybe I'll change that depending on like what the activity was beforehand. But you could easily set something up like this so that once it concisively breaks out of this range, you're just going to buy in here and you're going to just go for the ride. I mean, and then you can not worry about as much issue and right here. I mean, after 21, you might have a small stop here. I don't think there's much there, man. Then it's right to 27 and beyond. It's pretty much, that's last stop, man. Last stop. So I would consider anything below this price is a pretty good deal. Even so, like, you always want to get it the cheapest. So I mean, buying it in this $15-16 range, I say that's where most people got the majority of their silver over the last couple of years. If they bought it at a good price, anywhere between $18 and $15, and we can always look at our charts and our buying decisions and kind of like, oh shit, I should have waited, or I should have done this. So you never really know what's going to go on. So I would probably assume a strategy that makes you safe no matter what, you know. So assume every possibility. That's almost an essential quality to being a trader. You have to just, if it goes down, my action is this. If it goes up, my action is this. If it goes sideways, my action is this. Plan is made. No more stress. Go live your life. If you don't make a plan, you're gonna just like come to the situation that you didn't plan for or didn't even conceptualize, and you're gonna freak out. You're gonna make a bad emotional decision, and you're gonna get wrecked, and you're gonna lose all your hard-earned money, and no one will give a fuck about that. So it's this unfortunate aspect of life, like, that no one really cares. I mean, everyone says that they do, though. At least I'll be here and honest with you. I mean, I care about you guys. That's why I'm spending my time to do this stuff, and I care about some people more than others. So I'm spending more time for them. But when we're looking at this, I mean, let's say that we have $100, or let's just say we have I don't know, like say 20,000 as a random number. And we have $20,000 to invest. So let's say that we wanted to put it, a decent summation of it into silver. Maybe we want to do so much silver, so much gold. Like right about now, like the ratio of silver to gold is ridiculous. It's like 114 ounces to 1. It's never been this high historically in all time. So when you talk to the gold silver guys that live and breathe gold and silver, they're buying only silver right now. So, I mean, take it as you wish. I mean, I would probably have a little bit of gold, but I would say, like, well, if we want to take the good Canadian funds that are backed by the RF, the Royal Canadian Mint, I'd probably take the CEF because it's silver and gold. And let's just say we do it in terms of percentages. I mean, we could do something like, initially, right now, we could say we'll put in 15% in CEF, and these numbers are honestly off the top of my head. I mean, I might switch this because I'm going to help this person tomorrow, but I would say it wouldn't be ludicrous to initially whatever the heck they had in a mutual fund, a savings account, getting 0.003% every 3 years. I mean, what do you got? I mean, there's probably nothing more safe and secure with a huge potential than this here right now. So we could say we could throw 5G on this, and we could say, 3G on this one. So this is gold and silver, and this is silver. I mean, okay, we're getting somewhere. We could do one pure gold too if we want to have something. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna say. I think the CEF is a good one because it's gold and silver, and especially right now. But it's gonna depend, like, how much is the fee to do it. If they're gonna just shake your pockets loose every time that you try to just buy something and take 1 or 2% every time, it's just like, get lost, man. I don't know. So maybe something like 5% just in the physical aspect of it. So something like that. So now we got, let's say we got 9,000 invested, we got 11,000 left. So we could say we can just initially do something like this, and now we'll have more money than we actually did invest. We'll have 55% left over. 55% left over. So this is where I could say something like this would be a good strategy. Let's get our toes in the market here, okay? Let's get our toes in right now. Well, let's save a majority of it to react, because let's say it hits this and starts coming down again. I mean, let's say that worst case scenario is true. I mean, let's say that we're just waiting for old Mr. C to pop up. When moon, when C, when hell. Because nothing's changed. I mean, jobless numbers are, I mean, I don't know, I don't think I have the chart, but it's just straight down. Like, unemployment's like, what? Expected to be 30% right away. So how are they going to sustain this? There's no logical way that they can. I mean, but like, that just doesn't matter. They can just do whatever they want. The Fed said they'll print to infinity and beyond. So I don't know, man. Like, like, I guess I would be happy to be wrong with that. I'd be happy that if we just, I'd be really wondering how intelligent I really was if we seen the Dow get into 30,000. I'll come in here and, like, say a public apology to everyone, hands down, and you can all tell me to do something stupid and I'll do it. I mean, let's just say that, but it's much more likely that we have another leg down here, and just even in this 2009 housing market, man, like, we had a pretty steep A there. Now we're having this hopium recovery. It's not real. People don't know what the fuck is going on. Pardon my French, but people that have been working from home have no idea. They have no idea of reality, what it means to be a business. I do, because I have a business. And believe me, most of us have considered stopping. I mean, if it was hard before, it's harder now. I mean, the thing is, people are resilient, and when there's a will, there's a way, and we will persevere. But to think that it's going to be easy is naive. And who knows where this bounce could be, how fast it could be. But I mean, yeah, we're forming old B. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Unless some type of unforeseen, let's call it a white swan event. And I mean, we could say they're trying to boost the morale up on the hopes of a vaccine. Now, that's just pure and utter hubris or bravada, whatever you want to say. I mean, I'm not going to even get into that shit, because we will be not talking about money anymore pretty soon. But let's just get back to this so I don't go on some crazy tangent. It seems pretty obvious to me, what's happening here, and only some, like, act of God could stop this from going up. I mean, we could draw some type of support like this as well. I mean, we could draw it in a couple different ways. I mean, we could draw it right from the bottom of those bars right there because it really never did close. I mean, I could draw it like this, like so, and we can start seeing, I mean, we are in a little window right here. I mean, we can look at it a different way. We have a pretty clear bottom right there. You could say this is a descending triangle. I mean, if we wanted to look at the bearish aspect, and we could, if we don't break up above here and it gets rejected, I mean, that's not very optimistic. And well, I think that there's just like, people just always sleep on silver, man. Like, if you bought silver at $4 and seen it go to 50, like, you know, you're looking at a 10x on a legitimate investment. People are buying penny stocks, biotech stocks, looking for these kind of gains. I mean, I'm telling you, you're looking at an astronomical potential buying silver right now. Like, and it's a solid, legitimate asset. Like, you really never get these potentials too often. And if you want to wait until it busts up out of here, that's a fair play too. Or even if you want to wait till it breaks up above here, because there is some of these downward things. I mean, for me, I'm just the bullish. I get a little bit too bullish because of looking at gold and how well it's performing, looking at all the gold mining, and for me, like, gold and silver is the new marijuana market, or it's the new cryptocurrency market. I mean, precious metals are the storage of value in times of uncertainty, and right now, like, you haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, when we start going down again, and I just hope that we won't. I mean, this stuff's gonna shoot the fuck up, you know, and it's gonna be too late. I mean, it's not gonna be too late, but when you're, for me, like, I'm already all in. Like, I've been all in for a while, so me, I'm just reinvesting, waiting for retracements to reinvest. I mean, we can look at gold here. These lines aren't even close to touching. Like, they're doing pretty well. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here, because it's barking, man. It's barking through the fence. You know, it's ready to jump right over. And if it can get above here, you can almost guarantee silver's gonna fall. And when silver does, you're looking at an easy 2x to $50. I mean, if you buy right now at 17, you're getting, I don't know, like 2.2, 2.3x quite easily. And then some. Like, that's a gross underestimation. I'm not even gonna try. We're all so stupid now, we don't do simple math enough. But yeah, I think we all can see the potential right here. So from something that has literally no potential, I think it's very smart to start incrementally, like, getting into some of this stuff. And of course, not financial advice. I'm not giving advice for anyone. I mean, these are just like, this is just look at it, man. Make your own choices. And I can go as far as, like, strongly not recommending, but strongly saying, man, like, if you care about your future, at least consider it. And I guess that's as far as anyone can actually take it. But it's always been an insurance plan for when times get rough, and maybe that's a little bit bullish to say 45% in precious metals, seeing like how well they've already done. But are you gonna buy in? Are you gonna wait till it's $50 and say, oh yeah, silver's doing good? And I mean, hey, like, when it goes up, how much did it go up from right here to here? I mean, it probably won't go up this much because it usually never does go up that much again. But 581% from the top, right? So from right here, it won't even let me go up that high. But you can just do 5.8 times 50 or 5 times 5, right? To mean $250 silver plus, conservatively, if it replicated that. I'm probably shooting like $150. And when would this happen? When? It could be 2025. I mean, it could be 2026, man. I don't know. It could be later. Do you really care? Or if you're saving it in an RRSP, what is that going to do for you? What is that going to do for you? I mean, the thing is, yeah, you never know. Like, we could be, let's say we're right here, and this, just to like kind of hypothetically, we kind of had this little pump up, and maybe you would have thought that, hey, we're going again, but then we just seen it downward legged again, leg down pretty good. Seen it go from 5 to 4. I mean, it's not too much percentage wise, but I think you hear my ploy. It could drop down like this, and this, if that happens, good. I'll be happy. It's kind of a sick and twisted way to think of it, but yeah, the more that you can buy at these cheap amounts, like, the more you're going to be laughing when you see an expansion like this. You're going to be laughing because you're going to be set when everyone else is struggling to, you think they're struggling now, just wait. So I'd say that, yeah, man, this is my opinion about gold and silver. I mean, I'm pretty darn strong with it. I mean, I've looked at a lot of people that are biased in this perspective, and if I wanted to say, like, what's the worst thing that could happen with gold and silver, I mean, just the physicality of it. I mean, it's not the best way to exchange for a coffee, obviously, but it worked fine in old times. I mean, that's because maybe they had a little bit less trust of the monarchy, I mean, but usually paper notes always get brought into it, and then they fail, and then we go through this cycle, and everything's cyclical in life, and you can see we're just going through another cycle with silver, and silver is lagging gold, and gold is almost already up, challenging this double up, man. So looking at silver, like, I don't know where you can get better odds on this. It's like, do you want to take pocket aces versus 2-3 offsuit? There's a chance you might lose, but man, you're never going to get better odds looking at something like this. That's something with the longevity of silver, with no company, with no middleman. I mean, damn, man, like, there's never going to be a better idea. I mean, you could say cryptocurrency, but now we're really talking risk. Because you never really know. I mean, you can see the same thing. This isn't just with one asset. You can see the same contraction so that we can expand, right? And you always want to buy here at the bottom. Not, I mean, you can wait till it breaks off, and you can still get a good profit. And that's what I do with assets I'm not really aware of, and I'm looking at them and I see them already go up so much, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to really get in as that choo-choo train's just running out of steam. Maybe I'll wait to kind of make sure that we're going to have a good rise. So the same thing here. I mean, the bottom isn't as clearly defined. I mean, we got to look at this one and say, hey, that Chinese plus token Ponzi scheme messed this all up. We would have had a better consolidation, and we probably would have been working up. But now we have this goofy-ass shit in the middle. But either way, you could say that most people have consolidated around this $6,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 range, and you could say that that's probably the smart money-ish. I mean, only a few people bought at this $3,000 range because you never know how low it's going to go, right? I mean, the same thing with some of these other assets. I mean, when you look at this bigger curl, I mean, how low can it go, especially when it gets that wick down here, but I don't think we have a volume, but that's where we'd look at to see if that was a big red candle, and then you can maybe say that that was capitulation. And sometimes it's good to see that dip. That's almost a sign that maybe we're ready. Along with this, like, this is a solid line of support right here at 1380. I think you guys know that I am a silver fan. Yeah, I mean, I was buying silver, like, as one of my first assets. Unknowing, like, before I even knew what I was doing, like, and I was definitely not buying smart silver. I mean, I got exposed around here. And I was buying silver around $30. That's where I know I was into. Right around here. And, yeah, that's when the common people get in, right? The people unaware about these assets. This is when the population gets in. After all these monumentous gains are already made, and then all these people here are dumping on you guys. We just dump whatever we bought right here. So as you guys start buying in here, I'll just be dumping my bags on you. And that's how it works. So you don't want to you want to buy low, sell high, right? But you don't realize that that's what it is in kind of terms of emotion. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. I definitely went on a pretty big rant, just going off the top of my head, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully everyone has a good night, and open to criticism. I think that the worst thing that could happen is like the whole market just crashes and it keeps going down. Fucking thing, man. Anyway, everyone have a good night, okay? Take care. Don't use that stay safe term with me. Fuck. Take care.